or Tactical on TF.
Oh, no.
These guys have been cooking. We'll see who's going to cook harder today. What have you thought of some of the crazy picks we've been seeing from Insanity, by the way?
The Garen wasn't so hot. Lenny phase was cool, but after that, I don't know what was happening. So, I don't know if the coach made him pick that or he wanted it, but hopefully not again.
Yeah, he said on the Pros podcast afterwards that he was like, maybe not the best time to pick it, but definitely a good one.
And Kobe, you got to be excited. I know my boy Kobe, I don't know if you knew this, Afro, but Kobe's in Grandmaster, and he is spamming Volibear.
Really?
Yeah, I became a one-trick over the last, 5 months or something, spamming this champ, and Volibear just got a bunch of buffs on this patch, which caused a lot more people to play him. A lot more move speed on the Q now as you rank it up, and in the jungle, which is, I'm assuming, where it's going to go. You can play a top lane.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good top lane bully, but assuming this is going into the jungle here, Armao going to have some early dueling power, but into an Ivern can be super frustrating with all those heal and shield that we're already seeing with the Senna combination.
I hate the Nautilus with the Senna, man.
Oh yeah? Not your favorite?
Not my favorite.
Do you think there's any chance that it'll be like farming Nautilus, that sort of style, trying to fill the role of the Tahm Kench, or do you think it is just Nautilus support, Senna standard AD carry?
I think Nautilus will probably farm this game. They picked Ivern, so he's not really, he's like pseudo frontline with Daisy. So he still needs a kind of a tank, and you have FakeGod who likes to play a lot of bruiser top.
So this is, if you didn't know, Olleh said in an interview, basically he picks his supports largely just based off solo queue win rates now. So if something is OP in solo queue, he's going to play it. He's bringing a lot of those out in the LCS. Has felt they've been really effective.
Yeah.
So we have Smolder locked in as the AD, presumably here for Tactical.
Is this the first time in an A someone's picked it?
Nope, we've had a few. It's only won once. I think Dignitas, I want to say, was the one who won.
Oh, Tomo,
with it.
yeah, Tomo's a
And then we had a couple losses with it so far. So, if you are on Olleh's team, what kind of support would you want to be playing, alongside the Smolder and into the Nautilus Senna?
Yeah, the ones that are banning out right now. So Leona's gone. Braum is
So you want hard engage?
okay. Yeah, you definitely need engage with Azir, Smolder, Volibear. Something with CC can tank for your long range carries. You also got to buy time for Smolder in late game, so you don't want to be too weak. If I was going to pick here, yeah, it has to be a frontline.
Yeah, I mean, Braum is always pretty good with Smolder for the protection, but Maokai is up, and we saw that win rate. Maokai has been #1 win rate support for 3 patches in a row.
They should ban it here, I'm going to be honest.
They're taking their time on this ban.
It's Braum, there you go.
So, yeah, Braum to me is one of the most frustrating with Smolder because it's really hard to punish the Smolder early when he's trying to stack up, and then you get into the late game and the team fights are incredibly annoying. Double Dragons, though, I feel like is always too much scaling. They did the little hover over on the Aurelion Soul, both of them taking so much time. And there is the Maokai. I mean, I feel like that is just a no-brainer right now. The nerfs that he got were pretty small.
His lane phase actually with Smolder's with Maokai is kind of weak. So I think Shopify just thinks they can punish it harder than having Leona or Braum.
Oh. Was hoping for a little gangplank action. But something a little bit more standard now. Hui, after the buffs, has become super prominent.
Okay. So Hui's going to get locked in.
Let's go.
We have been seeing a little bit as support, obviously, in pro play, but Nautilus is already locked in, so it should be an Insanity champ who's giving us the eyes. Calm down there, Insanity. My wife is watching. Insanity also had a quote on pros. If you haven't watched this, it's actually been a great podcast with a lot of the pros. He talked about, he likes being able to have the pocket picks, but he actually enjoys playing, more of these meta champions. He does like playing standard too. And Hui, while it is maybe a bit of a newer pick in the LCS, is becoming pretty standard worldwide.
I think it just took a little bit of time for people to learn him and all his combinations.
Yeah.
I was thinking with Shopify's early picks with Senna and Ivern that they were going to have, some sort of hyper carry on the team too, with so much healing and shielding. I guess that FakeGod is going to be kind of the point person here at the front. They're going to try and make this Aatrox unstoppable. Expect, the full lethality Aatrox build, being backed up with Ivern shields and Senna and everything. Turn him into the Juggernaut. Try and win the game before the Azir and Smolder scale. Seems like a good idea.
Good luck. Our draft doesn't really punish early game. I guess Ivern can do that. So we'll probably see a lot of Ivern going around top side, it looks like.
Try and win some one-item team fights.
If you have to play one team or the other, which draft do you prefer?
The right side.
So you rather play Immortals heavily?
Yeah.
And if you are playing Immortals, so you're playing an Olleh, you're playing on the Maokai. What are your goals going into this game? What are you telling the team that you need to get done in the early game to be able to win?
I'm not looking to win lane, so I'm just gonna get a couple levels bottom start roaming to match this Ivern, who's going to just try to be a terror to my Volibear.
All right, well, we'll see if Olleh can do that. Immortals and Shopify both hungry for a win here, trying to climb up in the standings, reach that top 6 to be able to make playoffs here. And we are getting down to the brass tacks of it, honestly. Second last week of the LCS, coming really close now to those playoffs, and these teams have got to show us what they have improved on the last 2 weeks of this break.
Yeah, it's so exciting because we've had this long break where the teams have been scrimming and trying to come up with ways to save their season, especially these two teams. As we said, they're tied at the bottom of the standings, but the bottom of the standings this year in the LCS is so competitive that they're still within reach very easily of taking games off the top teams as well as making their way into playoffs. I am personally super excited for Volibear. And we'll be tracking Armao. There's a couple little things that even a lot of Challenger Volibear jungles don't do. And one of the biggest ones is keeping up stacks of your passive. There is no reason, if you're just doing a regular clear, not to start by a Blast Cone and auto the Blast Cone to get 1 stack of your passive and increase your clear speed there. And then also using your kiting of the camp across Raptors and Wolves so that you keep up your stacks when you're going between those two camps. If you just leash them out and then Q for move speed across mid lane and then use your E for long range to keep up the 5 stacks, it greatly increases your clear speed. The passive is super underrated on this champ.
And are you mostly feeling the Sundered Sky into tank step build? That's
so
what
I'm a Sundered Sky man every day of the week. Sundered Sky makes your Q crit for really big upfront burst damage and then also so much survivability.
All right, so down in bot lane, nice little early trade there. Shopify obviously starting in lane with that deep lane ward. Looking to punish Olleh, pushing him back pretty heavily. Started taking a pretty big chunk there.
Not much you can do.
So for Immortal side, are you mostly just trying to stay in range of XP basically at this point?
Yeah, just get XP. I mean, these kind of lanes kind of suck. You do what you can, but you lose a trade 90% of the time.
Yeah. Gotta wait and watch as they build up the big wave to push towards you.
Oh. All right, Zeyzal, nice hook, goes in again. Olleh getting chunked out pretty heavily. And we have seen Tactical cook it a few times. The TF obviously not working out when he brought that out. And, anytime you're having these kind of situations set up with the slow stack, we have to look where the junglers are. We know that Ivern is not going to be down there, so there's not going to be any sort of a dive. So he'll get denied from a little bit of early CS, but Tactical Olleh should be able to pick up most of the farm as it does crash towards their tower.
One small demerit already for the Volibear. Did not keep the stacks up, 5 stacks up, crossing from Wolves over to Raptors. So a little bit less speed on the clear, but honestly, it's not going to matter for this game. It's just going to be a full clear up to top side and try and trade the crabs with Ivern. Ivern almost always looking for the end regular clear towards bottom side of the map, and they'll get that Scuttle Crab vision for their pushing bottom lane down here. So Bvoy and Zeyzal can keep up the pressure at tower.
Yeah.
Almost a turret plate by themselves as well already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough down here already for Tactical and Olleh. And Bugi is now here. He's level 4. They're considering an angle for a dive, but there's not enough minions there, so it wouldn't be this way. So I think Ivern will just complete the base. Armao here hovering around mid lane, but is spotted out. You can see the pings on the minimap over towards him.
Oh, do we get a gank
But we'll be
here?
able to grab that top scuttle. And as they push off their tower, they're definitely going to look. Zeyzal's going to go in with the hook. Nice Q back from Olleh. Olleh, though, ignited, and he's going to be going down. First blood grabbed pretty comfortably there by Bugi.
You want to switch teams now, Afro? You can go from the point of view of the Zeyzal
The wave is so doomed, man. Look at the wave.
Just surprised our Volibear cleared to top side when he should know this lane goes like this. I mean, I guess you don't expect to dive, but you're going to get poked down.
Yeah, and Ivern is so annoying in the early ones too. I mean, this is set up by, of course, another good hook from Zeyzal. Second one we saw on screen of him hooking Olleh and getting the big chunk. It's like the ideal situation for them to get these really big chunks. And then with the turret plate money that they got themselves already too, things are really looking up for that Shopify game plan of setting themselves up for a strong early stage of the game, trying to head off before the Azir and the Smolder get to scale. Honestly, I feel like they're going to be in a really good position to fight a lot of these team fights around neutral objectives towards the mid game.
So we asked Discord who was going to win every lane. That was the votes there in the bottom of the screen on the LCS Discord. Tactical Olleh back to lane now, trying to fix that wave, but it was really stacked towards their opponents. They're losing even more farm. There's so much for Bvoy to actually pick up here. He, of course, is going to be the one farming. Grab the early Swifty boots off this, as Castle narrowly avoids getting pulled back there by the chains. And Armao going to have a little bit of work to do to try to get his team back in this, because bot lane looking really rough. Insanity's been pushing pretty heavily through mid and looking comfortable there on the way. Neither mid laner has based yet. But honestly, with Azir not having 6, doesn't really have to be too worried about anything. They know exactly where Armao is thanks to that pink ward, and Insanity will just reset here, spend up his gold.
All right, everybody's favorite time of the game, grub time. At least the jungler's favorite time of the game.
He was in range. How surprising to go for that.
All right, it looks like Armao is taking the grubs by himself while we're seeing the bottom lane
Ivern
skirmish
stole
here.
one of them, so I mean he gets one, I guess.
Nice little yoink.
Yeah, you've talked a lot, Kobe, about how you always like to prioritize at least just getting one of those grubs.
It's because of the jungle item, so you get bonus experience on killing a major jungle champion, a major jungle camp, basically. And each individual grub, at least the first one that you get, will count for that bonus experience. So both junglers can get them off the grubs, but only your first grub does give it.
You know what? They can actually do a dive here. Oh, if this dive works, it's over for IMT.
There's so many minions stacked up, and Bugi's already behind them. We'll see if Tactical can get out, but even if he gets out, Olleh is kind of abandoned here at the turret, and they could just look for the Maokai. Bugi will see if he wants to step forward, but at the very least, they've denied all that farm from Tactical.
Oh, no.
This is honestly really reminiscent of the TF game, where he was completely zoned off, dove really early, and it became impossible for him to get back in it. He's more than doubled in the farm right now.
Oh, no.
Is that the comms right now?
This is an FF, man. Like.
I love the emotional updates on the bottom lane. It's rough out here for the Smolder stacker. By the way, he's at 22 stacks right now, almost 7 minutes in, and Shopify grabbed Dragon 2.
Man.
And Shopify, the early game going very well for them. We have to take a look at the strength of schedule for them, because their next 4 games after this, assuming they could get a win here, are obviously going to be very, very important. We are in week 5. We're going in towards week 6. So, it's not just about the record. It's about the strength of schedule as well, and the quality of teams that they're going to be having to play. And there it is. So they're going to have Dignitas next, Energy, 100 Thieves, and then C9. So Dignitas, feeling pretty beatable. Energy, 100 Thieves, Cloud9. We have to see how these teams are going to be looking, after the break. Yeah. But those are all teams that are, expected to be very strong. So honestly, pretty tough strength of schedule remaining here for Shopify. So it makes it an even more important win against Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 of those teams are also only 1 game currently above them. So even more critical to win those, so you can try and, leapfrog basically in the ladder. And like you're saying, over the 2-week break, people are expecting Energy and Cloud9, probably 2 of the biggest improvements, or at least supposed to make the most of the time.
Do you think that if you're doing well, it's an advantage or a disadvantage to take the break, Afro?
If you're doing well.
Yeah. It seems like everyone thinks it's an advantage if you're doing poorly.
I think it's good if you're doing well. Just having a break like that, being able to rehash over how your playstyle wants to go, your identity, always helps. Sometimes you do get a little lazy, I won't lie. This has happened to my teams in particular, but for teams that aren't doing so well, it also helps. So yeah. I think it's a positive for both sides. Just depends like how well your management, coaching staff, players value the extra time.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're a player who is obviously known as such a leader on your team, and we have to cut this off as it looks like they're going to be zoning them off, potentially going to be looking for a dive again. Zeyzal not 6 yet, but Bugi is here. Could fish with the Roof Collar, and there goes the flash forward from Zeyzal. He's going to lock up Tactical, and Tactical's got really nowhere to go. He's going to have to flash out. The Ghost is used as well, but the Dawning Shadow will get the kill. Armao arrives, but it just might be him dying as well, as Zeyzal's going to look for the angle on the hook. Mask is coming down here now on the Azir. We'll see if the roam can be matched from Insanity. Doesn't look like it, but they can't even defend the tower with their jungler down here, with their mid laner making the roam. It's Tactical going down again, spending both summoners, losing all the farm, and the Smolder's completely out of the game.
If I'm in the review after this, I will ask my jungler, where are you?
Help, please help.
Armao was like 5 seconds late on that dive, which is kind of sad, but he did choose the path top this game, which is kind of, oof.
Yeah, I mean, that has determined the whole game. So, I mean, I kind of feel bad that we have you up here and you have to watch this brutal bot lane beatdown. But honestly, that is the whole game right now.
So you've been a part of some crazy comebacks though in your career. You know,
Yeah.
I think to CLG at MSI, you were a part of. How far down were you against RNG? It was like 13K or something like that.
Yeah, but we were winning lane at that time.
Okay, well, Matt's gonna be going for it. There's the ulti in from Volibear as he's gonna go over the top. They get the kill on Insanity, so they do get something back. Maybe going to be able to get a plate or something off the back of this, but it is a glimmer of hope there for Immortals. But just talk me through, like, how do you stay positive in a game like this? How do you stay focused on what you need to do to win?
Where did they get out?
Fight here. It looks like Bugi going to be looking for the root collar. Can he find the lockdown?
Oh, no.
It's going to be a flash from Olleh, so they force out the flash. They will survive, but it is a kill. They do get a plate through mid with Mask, so they get a kill, they get a plate, they deny a little bit of farm. Immortals still trying to stay proactive. At the end of the day, you know, obviously Tactical is totally out of it, but you're down only 1,000 gold. So, you know, what do they need to focus on from here to actually, you know, make this happen?
It's kind of like having casted in mid. You just wait for 225 stacks and somehow be able to win the game. Oh, we're going to one here.
FakeGod popping the Deathbringer, looking to try to get this 1v1 against Castle, but Castle sidesteps so much of it, and now stepping forward with the Mega Gnar, could look for an ulti. Doesn't want to risk flashing in, knowing that he could have that flash response from FakeGod, so it is just going to be a one trade there.
Immortals got the classic, don't worry, we scale, boys, comms going on. But they actually do scale as long as they can keep their income on a reasonable pace. So they definitely do have options. Yeah, it specifically feels bad to be Tactical because of all the zoning, and to boot your Smolder, who doesn't get to stack as fast because you didn't have access to the minion wave. But you know, they can definitely still focus on the same game plan. They have a really good team fight for later on.
I mean, it's tough because he's only got 47 stacks. 225 feels almost unrealistic for the game, you know?
First ever 30-minute?
30 minutes is seeming generous at this point,
Oh,
man.
God.
Like, this is looking brutal.
Let's not hope for that.
Honestly, we should open up the chat and we should have a bet for chat. Or even just predictions. What do you think is the time, if any time, that Tactical will be able to get to the 225 execute?
What time does he get it? And is it tomorrow? You know, is it in his next game of Smolder?
Maybe a simple yes or no. Does he get it today?
I mean, it's tough because he's not only getting zoned off of these minions and losing stacks there. When you're this far behind, you can't even trade, so you're not stacking off the enemy champions, which is actually where you get a ton of your stacks. But Immortals here, over by the Dragon, going to be starting this up. Olleh going to let the Nature's Grass rip here, just trying to keep them out. And it's just going to be used as the disengage tool. So Immortals do grab the Dragon. They avoid a fight, going to be feeling pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not having to worry about the Dragon stacking now, more time for the possible dream team fight scaling here. It's actually not that bad as long as you're not looking at it from Tactical's pop.
As long as you just squint a little bit and don't look towards the bottom of the map.
It's fine.
It's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, recovered.
I think at this point I'm dropping bottom tower, just playing with my top side for the rest of the game.
Yeah. You know, at what point, if any, do you think they should move him to a different lane? We'll have to come back to that as the ulti's going to be popped here from FakeGod. Again, chasing after Castle. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to too much. Nice sidestep on the Q1. Q2 not going to land. Mom's getting called in the bot lane as we're going to have the TP coming down there. Azir going to be coming in. It's Armao trying to chase after them, trying to keep Zeyzal interested. But Shopify just back off. Again, another play down towards that bottom side. Dissipates. No kills for either team.
I definitely agree with Afro, though. Still looking at possibly dropping bottom tower here. Shopify are keeping up the pressure. Ivern's down here again. Zeyzal gets the shield and goes in.
Yeah, Armao in some trouble. Sky Splitter's going to come through for the shield. Going to be able to back it out. And we'll be okay with Olleh behind him. But again, it is Tactical on the run. Flapping his little wings out of there. As he is again going to have to watch this tower getting hit, missing out on farm. And the tower is going to be falling. Looks like they're going to move Smolder over towards mid. Maybe move Azir down towards bot, but there's not much of a play to be done here.
Thoughts on the static shiv for Senna first here, Afro? Because, I mean, he did quickly clear that wave.
Was surprising. As soon as I saw it go off, I was like, oh. But I guess it's for wave clear, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, just trying to prioritize that push, I guess, from this position. They're going to be starting up the Herald on top side. FakeGod around here, and we do see Zeyzal's coming in, Bugi's coming in, and Sandy is here as well. A fight could be breaking out. The hook's going to connect on Tactical, and he's just gone.
Wow, the magic trick.
Now you don't.
He's a magic dragon.
I thought it was
Poof.
an artist, not a magician.
Don't know why he was there, but all right, man.
It wasn't there for long. Don't worry.
No. I guess he just felt like he had nowhere to go. You know, he was getting zoned off the bot lane turret, walks up, trying to be useful on the map here, ends up just giving over another freebie. They do get the Herald, but they're going to lose the tier 1 mid. And it's looking really tough here for Tactical. 77 CS at 15 minutes is not where you want to be. He's at 56 stacks. So obviously it gets faster as the game goes longer. But I mean, I've even seen, there was an LPL game I want to say recently where I saw sub 20 minutes in pro for 225. So it can happen even in pro that you get those really fast benchmarks. But you know, at this current pace, it's like even being generous and knowing it's going to ramp up over time. Is it going to be a 35-minute 225? Is it going to be, you know, a 40-minute? It's like he's just not been given any chance to get any.
Well, they're giving him wolves right now, so
something.
He's gonna get a couple off of the wolves.
Best thing I think IMT can do is just stall. You can't really make any plays off their top side, unfortunately, unless Shopify messes up. But you just gotta keep farming.
My boy Kadril in chat is predicting 26-43, I was told, for the stacks. Kadril, what are you talking about?
That is very
He's got
generous.
like 10 minutes to quadruple his stacks.
I'm gonna go 29.
He's a believer. He's a believer.
He's got faith.
I'm gonna go no. This is not gonna get him.
Yeah.
I think Nexus Explosion.
Yeah, next game. Next game is when he's gonna get 225. Next time he locks in Smolder.
It's harsh, but honestly,
Harsh but fair. That's what we strive to be here on the LCS. Tactical got the CDR boots. He's got the Essence Reverse, so he has a little bit of CDR in there. We'll see if he can find some way to scrape that together. Castle obviously doing pretty well on the top side. Master doing well in mid lane. Everything else is going fine, but it is a 3,000 gold lead now. Obviously, the problems in bot lane have bled over to the rest of the map. They lost that tier 1 bot. They lost the tier 1 mid. The objective's fairly even overall, and we'll see if Armao can make anything happen here. Good look for the dive. There's the Gnar coming out, and he's going to slam him into the wall. The turret's turned off, and there's no chance for FakeGod. Easy dive there for Immortals.
that's some good old-fashioned Volibear right there. Love to see it. Tower dives made easy. You too, at home, can execute on this. Turn off the tower, go to your top laner, get that tower. Honestly, you know, it looks like the mental holding strong here for Immortals. So the best thing is to just keep feeding Wolves and Raptors to Tactical so you can accelerate the measly stacks that he at least has there.
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now.
At least get him some more. Good, yeah. I'll always give Smolder the Raptors for sure. Krugs are super
those too
good for it.
precious for you?
I mean, I would give him literally everything that we possibly can in hopes that they can get that comeback.
And Volibear doesn't feel that item dependent. You know, you can be successful, I think.
He's early game champ. You know what? The time to shine is quickly passing.
Was 10 minutes ago. All right, well, on the other side, Senna, we're checking out on the stacks. Honestly, not that crazy either. 47 stacks there for Bvoy. They dominated the lane so hard that it was like they weren't even trading either. So I guess there is a little bit of a cost there for Senna because Tactical was just always getting zoned off. They weren't really interacting. So Bvoy has not picked up very many souls either. But here's the Sky Splitter coming down for Armao. As he fancies his chances in that fight. Just going to push FakeGod back as Castle was in the area. And FakeGod just kind of found himself on the weak side of the map. Dragon going to be taken on the other side. So Armao just going to do his best to take away a couple camps, get what he can up on that top side, maybe put the Gnar in a position where he could open up the map and buy some time for Tactical.
Honestly, I feel like it might be time for to check in with people who actually believe is there going to be this comeback for the Smolder Azir squad, because I don't think they're going to be super duper pressured, and they should be able to continue the farm. Got some bounties. Look, they got 2 bounties.
That's topside, man. Love to see that.
All right, well, we'll see. He's stacking it up very slowly. Unfortunately, we don't have the stacks on screen right now. I can check in-game. Let's get the update.
I got you. We got 109 for Smolder. And as you said, for Senna too, only 50 for the Senna right now.
Yeah, so not a lot of stacks over on Bvoy's side, but Bvoy has gold, so that is working in his favor. Has the 2 items already completed here. Tactical level 10, so down in the experience as well, which always does hurt. You love having those damage abilities maxed out. 13 actually reasonably big power spike there for Smolder, as the W really does help with wave clear, and the poke in team fights is actually pretty reasonable.
And it's kind of interesting, again, Bloodsong Nautilus here for Zeyzal. It did get a really, really popular in solo queue because obviously the support item was just super busted.
Zeyzal gonna be looking. There's the TP coming in, and Armao's in trouble. The depth charge gonna connect. Nice buffer on the ulti to immune it, but Insanity is behind him, and the Unending Despair gonna get cast. Gnar into the wall for Insanity, but there's no damage here for Immortals. It's 2 free kills on that bot side. Can they get anything more off this? They're just gonna be pushing up towards that tier 2, but they have no wave right now. There's no dragon there, so no big objective looking like it's gonna come off the back of this.
Yeah, I'm asking why are we down here at that moment? Caught out of position, nothing to play for. Usually you want to play with your Azir on top side, more so than having your playing against with your Gnar. So that was just a little blunder by Immortals, but they're still sticking. Really
Another bump in the road. It's okay. Just keep on chanting, we scaling boys. We scaling boys, we scaling. Tactical 139 now. He was pushing mid while bottom lane was dying.
Yeah, maybe it's the strat. Put Smolder mid so you can farm the camps and the wave.
I mean, it does start to ramp up. It starts to ramp up quite a lot, but still going to need another 100 in the next 6 minutes if K-Drill is going to be correct.
K-Drill might be right, I'm going to be honest, guys.
You think 106 minutes?
He's going fast.
That's optimistic. I mean, I guess if he gets every jungle camp,
the race is on.
Maybe it's rigged. We'll see.
I do like the adaptation that people have made in the build too. With the Sojin on top of the Essence Reaver. It's kind of the middle ground between the two builds.
Between the full tanky build, yeah.
You saw at the beginning.
Yeah, I've always preferred the Shojin Rush myself. I think when you are going to do this build, I still think Shojin first does feel really nice. I don't think the champion really has a lot of mana issues, and Shojin just has more of that CDR to get the stacks coming out earlier. The early HP also feels quite nice. It's just so hard to auto attack on this champion. I feel like the full auto attack based builds, full crit builds and stuff never really made that much sense to me because he's so squishy and he's so low range. So having the extra HP feels pretty nice. I've seen some people doing obviously like Shojin, Triforce and things like that too, but seems to be more popular in solo lanes.
Yeah, I remember when Smolder first came out, everyone was confusing him with an auto attack based build. More so than having the spellcaster.
Yeah.
But as soon as I played one game with them, I'm like, this is a
How are you supposed to auto attack on this champion? It is really, really hard. And Shopify up towards this top side. Bugi just hanging around. Has been pretty annoying around these tier 1 towers, just threatening wraparounds, trying to cover his laners, both in bot and now in top, so they can push up, slowly work away on these towers. If you are on the Immortals side, is it mostly just defensive vision that you're trying to maintain here, for Olleh? Obviously, Zeyzal's been pushing forward. He's trying to get that vision line up. What are you trying to do here for Olleh?
More on the defensive aspect. This is how Immortals should have been playing the whole game, as like playing defense, because I don't think they really have too much in the early game, even though Volibear is not too bad. But their Smolder and Maokai needed protection. So what they just did right there, where Maokai groups up with Volibear, gets the vision down, and just defends the play that Shopify is going for, is how they should have been playing most of the early game.
All right, we'll see. Ivern coming down, but Castle aware that he could be there. As FakeGod just clearing this out. Did go Profane Hydra as the rush has become incredibly standard there on the Aatrox. So easy to burst people down to that half HP, where you then get that bonus damage on the activation, and really does ramp up the damage so much, especially with that Deathbringer auto if you can get it into.
Yeah, especially because they have an Ivern and a Senna on the team too. Really helps out any sort of front line going full damage.
That makes a lot of sense. Zeyzal could look for the hook here, but there's no one really around, so it wouldn't be much of a punish even if he hits it. Bugi now clearing out that vision around the Baron. There's one more ward in the back of the pit. He sees it. They're going to be able to get that out of there. Zeyzal clearing out more of these wards as well. The empowered plants honestly, it feels like it makes it a lot harder to maintain vision control though, from the offensive side. You're having those extra plants to try to clear things out, as Castle's just been steadily pushing away in these side lanes, building up a pretty nice CS advantage. He's about 40 CS up at this point, and that pressure through the side lane has really been buying some time here. Now that Tactical, obviously, he's had the 125 stacks for a while. You have the AoE on your Q. That helps you really ramp up how quickly you can actually stack this.
Yeah, this is the point where I'm glad I'm on pick the Immortals draft. Both solo lanes have prio. Smolder's just got to relax, farm it up. and it was a pretty good spot for them.
So what do you think Shopify has done wrong then? Because the early game went so good for them, but you're looking at the farm now, it doesn't feel like there's much of an advantage in the bot lane. Who cares? You have the extra Last Whisper, Smolder scaling. What should they be doing to actually try to get themselves into this game and accelerate it?
I think it's all on Bvoy and Zeyzal. Yeah, they got the bottom tower, pretty early. Zoned them off, got the mid tower right after, but after that, it's just based on movement. Like, you have to put your bottom lane, somehow get them to top to take the tower, but they did that, 4 minutes ago? When they should have done it probably 10 minutes ago.
Also, it's kind of funny that it's a Chemtech soul, which is, effective when you're low HP, but they're playing against the Smolder, who just executes you when you're low HP. It's like,
wait, that's
great.
not fair. Stop it.
Nice Dragon Soul. One of the least effective already, and then it's even more ineffective versus Smolder.
They can get the Dragon Soul, but Smolder has an Elder Dragon built in.
Yeah, and I'm kind of on the Cagel train now. It's almost 25 minutes, but Smolder's at 2:04.
Oh, okay.
Tactical is close. Cagel's got it kind of locked in.
Yeah, they've been donating him so many of these camps, and he's been farming pretty.
Don't touch those chickens.
Undisturbed.
You better
for
leave
a long
those chickens.
Getting both sides of the jungle. It feels like he's getting the chickens. It looks like he's running straight out towards them, so probably going to be able to get that. That's about 1:30, and he might be right on point. We'll see if he's going to have that prediction correct.
What was the exact? He had seconds in there.
It was like 26:40 or something like that. And I think he's going to be pretty damn close. Shopify finally do take down that tier 1 top here. The hook going to be landing on him as there's the depth charge.
Nice.
The flash forward from Ivern roots him up, gets that shutdown, and now I think it's Baron time here. They're going to be heading over to it. You can see Armao trying to push out mid lane. Tactile trying to get his 225 stacks off of these Krugs. He's not quite going to get there. He's very close. He desperately wants to get it. We need to hit a couple more abilities. There's the Root Caller going to be landing onto Olleh, and they're going to try to turn it around onto Armao. Sky Splitter coming down. Mom gets called, and Ivern gets cooked up there by Tactical. They get the shutdown, and that is huge because that means they can't actually go to the Baron. They buy the time for the 225 stacks to come through here as well.
He's literally 224. One stack. He's literally waiting for Cagel's exact time for the seconds. Actually, he beat it.
26-14 for 225.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with how terrible the game started.
He brought
the
it
fact
back.
that he's been able to bring it back, and yeah, he's not even really behind that much in gold now. He just got the shutdown, and they have bought themselves the time that they need. So he's going to be relevant. Well, he is still down almost 2K in gold, so that's pretty relevant. But at the end of the day, when you get 225, you're feeling good, and he's got a pretty heavily scaling team. That just felt pretty overambitious, I have to say, from Bugi going over the wall there. I don't even know if he meant to. Like, he hit the Root Caller, he hit the Q, went over the wall after it. I don't know if that was like a misclick or if they thought that they could turn or if there was some miscommunication there, but Ivern dying meant that they can't actually go for the Baron at all.
After you kill Azir, who's their long-range poke, the enemy team, they have to be basically on top of you to do anything to stop you, so you just want to pull them in closer. Going over the wall a little ambitious.
All right, well, FakeGod potentially is in trouble. He's going to flash out. Does have the World Ender pop, but he's just using it to run. Armao going to flash follow here, and it's looking like he might just get chased down. We'll see if Castle has a flash of his own, and he's going to go right over the wall. No way out here for FakeGod. The Sky Splitter claims it there, but a Shopify onto the Baron. Was that even worth it? You're down in bot lane at 27 minutes here. They're going to try to go in. There's the smite to secure it. Olleh going to look for the fight as Castle arrives in the backline. Mom gets called over the top, trying to soften them up. And the 225 stacks, you can see it on those HP bars. There's the first kill for Castle. And it's Mask now flashing forward after Insanity, but Insanity flashes out himself. Armao arrives. It's another kill going their way. And a good dodge there on the hook here from Tactical. He's just got to wait for the rest of his team to corral them, and he can step forward, get these kills. Zeyzal channeling the Hex Flash is going to go in, but there's nothing for him to do. It's an ace for Immortals, and they have pulled this game back.
Tactical acquires a bounty on his head as well. Smolder has arrived. Oh my goodness. All right, Immortals, the plan, they stay true to the scaling. Honestly, sending jungle on bottom side, they are going to give the guaranteed smite advantage up here to Shopify. But look at Olleh with this Maokai support getting in there. He sacrifices himself. He gets the ult down. Castle in the backside, and they chase them all through.
I think Shopify could have played that way better. Insanity was going towards the left. Bugi just ran at the enemy team for some reason. As soon as they killed Olleh, they probably could have just kited straight up and had a easier fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like especially when you're playing with those Enchanter-style champions like the Ivern, you need to stay as a 5 squad. You need to stay together, make use of the multiple rotations of those heals, of those shields. Weren't really able to do it. Immortals find the flank with the TP from Castle. They're able to make the collapse happen, and now back to live here, and Dragon gonna be spawning in just about 10 seconds. Look how much damage Bvoy got done, even in that last fight. 6,500 damage here from the Senna, but not much from the rest of the squad as Olleh stepping forward, looking to clear out this minion, but not going to be able to do it just yet. Castle on the side, trying to poke away at FakeGod, who's going to be stepping forward, but there's the Nature's Grasp going in from Olleh, going to be looking for the Twisted Advance as Armao jumps over the top and just Goomba stomps Bvoy. He's gone already, and Tactical has got to be careful. A lot of damage coming through there from Insanity. The Spiraling Despair cooking up Immortals as they all funneled in and got AoE down by Hwei. And now Shopify going to be able to grab Soul very likely off the back of this. There's no Armao. There's no real chance to steal this away. So they get Soul, and their hope's still alive now in this game.
That was the complete opposite of the last team fight, where they just stayed together, grouped up, and I mean, Insanity just cleaned up.
Yeah, when you're all grouping up, charging in there for that big AoE there, really big stuff. Insanity lane, the combo. Let's take another look at it. As they walk up, Olleh uses the ultimate. They're trying to kite back, as you said. Daisy out there on the front line, and everybody, they immediately take down Bvoy, who was the biggest damage previously, but...
I actually really dislike... I'm like 50-50 when Azir Superman's in the ulti of the team. Sometimes it's just so bad, and sometimes it's just way better for you to just long-range poke.
Yeah, especially when you have the Smolder on your team with stacks ready, you know, play a little slower.
Bugi might be caught out here. He's spotted in the jungle. Looks like he's got nowhere to go. Tactical on the back of him. Zeyzal and FakeGod try to get over here to help him out, but here comes Mom, and Tactical's on a killing spree, gets another execute. Castle will be fine on the other side. We see the power of Hwei, but again, Shopify a little bit out of sorts. They're split up, and Bugi, I think, was trying to hightail it down towards bot lane to support his team, but ends up getting punished. Shopify obviously can win these fights if they can play them out properly. We see the power of that Hwei. If you can hit multiple spells on multiple people, you're proccing that passive, you have them all grouped up for the AoE. He's very dangerous in these closed corridor fights, but it is getting really, really tough. I mean, the front line now is just going to be getting smashed by Tactical, who's getting more and more and more stacks. He's now at, what is that? 320 stacks, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if Immortals don't just charge in and serve themselves up, I feel like it is kind of hard for Shopify to get the dream, you know, engage and teamfight and access onto the backline. If Smolder and Azir are playing defensively, how do you get a Nautilus hook behind there? Or, you know, I guess FakeGod with some crazy flank has to come up like a Superman or something?
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as IMT plays their range, I don't see how Shopify ever...
Play protection. You have Maokai ult, you have Azir ult, you have a lot of options now.
So would you prefer Immortals just showing up to the objectives, you know, setting up saplings and brushes, playing disengage and just to secure objectives, you know, force Shopify to engage in them instead of being the team that hard engages?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's usually what Azir wants to do until that, obviously, that one moment where their backline opens up and, yeah, you can Superman it.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to find that moment or not. Shopify, though, they do still have a gold lead. It's only a couple thousand this late in the game, not meaning too much, but they do have that Soul on top, which is, you know, about 4 or 5K worth of stats. But Smolder eliminates so much of that with his scaling. The execute at this point on the Q is going to be getting higher and higher. That scales up as well with the stacks. So it does get really tough to deal with this champion. At this point, the execute is anyone below 10% HP dies instantly.
Oh my God.
Like, this is a ridiculous amount of stacks that he has. He's just straight up playing Elder Dragon built into the kit.
That is ridiculous.
I want to remind people, too, it's incredibly important this game for both these teams. These are the two teams tied in last place right now. So with, you know, Super Week next week, they've got to make a real big push right now. Every win incredibly important.
I hate when the game goes so late, you got to fight over Elder. Especially at Shopify when you had the early game lead. It just, like, the game went so long, you couldn't close it out. It just feels horrible.
Yeah, I feel they meandered a little too much. You know, be more aggressive with controlling enemy jungle. Be more aggressive with trying to push in and force the early game before you find yourself in this situation.
And this is Immortals' final 4 games here. Really tough schedule, honestly. So super important game here for them. We see Shopify over by this Baron. Zeyzal posturing to try to look for a turn. We'll see if he can actually find the right hook, as it's only Armao stepping forward, but he gets crushed by the Bvoy damage over the wall. When you're isolated, that QW does so much damage. And that Baron getting low now. Armao's going to have to go in pretty soon here if they're going to try to look for a steal. But Castle on the side, charging up that Mega Gnar. It's a hook in from Zeyzal. They've caught Castle, and can they burst him down before he Megas out? They can. Castle's just gone. The Nature's Grass comes through from Olleh, but it does nothing at all. The Baron has leash, but not that much. Mask has to run now. Tactical, though, could harass them over the wall. Can he get these Qs down? They need vision for him, and they just don't have it as Ivern brushes are everywhere. There's a pink ward in the bush in the pit as well. Here comes Mom for the desperation steal. He's not going to get it, though, as Armao's got to go on the run. Tactical going to flap his way back to the base as they watch another objective go to Shopify off of a great turn onto Castle. Couldn't actually mega out. The Sterix doesn't matter at all, just dies through it.
So huge for Shopify. I mean, getting the pick on the side and the isolated target here, easily allowing them with the Ivern, with the Bvoy, with the Senna, take him down. And now with Baron, they actually have the pushing power to make a difference in this game. Let's see it. This Baron power play has to be huge for them. There's 54 seconds left on Elder. They're already going to get Scuttle Crab vision as well. This could be it. This could be what they're looking for.
That was a tough one. Immortals, it just felt like they didn't want to approach, through the river. They were kind of playing behind the wall, poking over the wall so much, and pretty separated from Castle. So Castle is isolated. If the team had been behind him when he gets hooked in on, maybe that looks very different. But now Shopify, they have this Baron power play. They're pushing up through bot lane, going to be threatening the base here already in 20 seconds until that Elder spawns. This inhibitor is just going to be given. You can see Castle pushing out through top lane, trying to get something ready as Armao is out around mid, but he's spotted by that ward with Tactical. So Shopify know there's nothing to worry about for them, and they're just going to keep pushing. They're spotted on ward. They're over by mid lane. So Shopify's not going to turn. They didn't realize that they had the vision, so I think they were assuming that Shopify would just back off, but they're just going to stay at this point. TP is available for both top laners, so they can actually call him in. First Nexus Tower is going to go down just to the cannons here. And now, one fight away from claiming victory in this game is Shopify. We'll see if Immortals can put a stop to it, but the hook, not going to land on Olleh.
Oh my god, they're just going to go for the end here. Look at these guys.
Yeah, they're ready. They just want to force them back to base. At the very least, they want everyone to actually be back in base. Maybe now they go out towards the Elder, but the hook is going to force a flash from Mask, who has got to be so careful on the side. Zeyzal, they're looking for the engage now. Nature's Wrath coming in. Pretty good angle here from Olleh, but it only catches Zeyzal. And that means it's going to amount to nothing. Olleh trying to poke and prod here. You can see he's so far down in XP, though. Level 10, when people are hitting 18 on the other side. This Maokai is going to be absolutely paper. Castle, though, does have the Mega Gnar almost ready. Armao trying to get in here from the side, but Mass is not even close to with the team. Now going to be TPing in. We'll see if the turn's going to come in. This TP is pretty risky. He's going to get rooted up by Bvoy. We'll see if they can find an angle. In goes Castle. Castle flying into the backline. There's a flash. The Mega Gnar across multiple members. In comes Mom. Olleh in the backline as well. But it is Immortals who are falling. It's Immortals who are on the run. The Dawning Shadow going to claim the life of Mask. Tactical trying to make it happen all by himself here as Armao is chasing after Zeyzal. May be able to get this one kill. We'll see if they can get anything else from this, but now they just need to buy time. They could even threaten to TP into the base here. It's going to be a TP back to the Elder, though. They're going to claim this. Shopify will get the Elder and will look to push here. They're so long on some of these death timers, they want to end the game.
That is game right there.
They got to make use of it. All right, everybody heads immediately bottom. Teleport comes out. Here comes the siege for the win. Immortals only have Tactical and Armao to try and defend.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Tactical's got no ult, no sums. They're going to be looking right for him. Olleh is back up. We'll see if they can buy some time, but look at Armao. He's going down so fast already, and Tactical is gone. Chopped in half by FakeGod as the World Ender will spell the end of Immortals in this one. Shopify got ahead big early, but they outplay them in the late game, where Immortals were meant to be dominating. It was Shopify that come up big. Better team fights, better coordination. They walk away with the win.
I gotta give it up to his sanity, though. He was playing those fights very well. He landed a couple of key ults. That last one on the Nexus, so just hit Tactical through the front line. That was insane.
Actual snipe there. Huge stuff from him. Insanity has been so big for this team. And this is on one of the standard picks, not the crazy, Garen mid lane counter picks and stuff that he was pulling out. He can do it all.
Yep, looking really good. Going to be very happy about that win on the side of Shopify. And this one hurts for Immortals. Obviously, really tough early game there. But now let's take a look at our Pagoda Egg Rolls Let 'em Cook replay featuring Insanity from Shopify Rebellion.
This is the big one. Yes, it starts out with the full assassination of Bvoy, who had done all of the damage in the previous team fight. But then, as you called out, Aphromoo, when Azir goes in, sometimes immediately popped, and it was a nice one there from Insanity.
Insanity actually traded the kill on the Olleh there as Bvoy died, so it immediately made it 4v4.
Yeah.
And having Immortals use all of their damage over here on the left side was not really the play.
Yep, well, Insanity, another really strong game for him, but we're headed to a break, so check out part 2